Good afternoon and welcome to the weekend edition of the 2021 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope everyone has had a relaxing and inspiring weekend so far. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, preach to me, as we bring you the latest and pure unadulterated truth in U.S. and world financial news. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about this massive influx of cash in the first quarter of 2021 that the Federal Reserve Bank and others around the world is pumping into the world economy and into the U.S. economy. According to CNBC.com, cash in circulation is soaring, and their media suggesting that, the media suggesting that good things are coming for the economy. The currency increased last year at a pace not seen since the end of World War II. Big increases in demand for cash usually signal a turn in economic cycle and have led to booms. So we have this massive influx of cash, helicopter money being sent to Americans. As you know, many are receiving their $600 stimulus checks either this week or next week. In addition to that, if President Biden is confirmed on the 20th of January, there will be an additional amount of money pumped into this economy. Roughly there's talks of even another $1 trillion stimulus plan that will include another $1,200 checks to Americans sometime before summertime, May, June, or maybe before then, depending on how things go. And then there's another $2 trillion that they want to do for the Democrats and others want to do for a U.S. infrastructure plan. And just like in the Great Depression, they want to put Americans back to work, rebuilding the infrastructure, maybe working on that high-speed rail that they said they were going to do for converting most of America to that, and also repairing the roads, the bridges, the buildings, etc. So that's the plan. And so when all is said and done, later on this year, we may be the $28 trillion deficit that we're in right now may balloon to double that. It may be close to 30 or 40 trillion if all these bills pass that they're proposing. But this is what's coming down the pipe. And so the thing is that usually when we have this amount of money pumped into the system, it would create what's called hyperinflation. And a lot of economists have been wary of that. The problem is, and that's what the Federal Reserve is saying, that we don't have that. The problem is that it is creating inflation on the local level, but on the national, the macro level, it's not creating hyperinflation because that money that they're pumping into the system is not circulating to Main Street. Wall Street and the elites are taking that money, like the $1 trillion stimulus pack, the $900 billion stimulus package, what they just passed, and the $600 they gave us. The authorities have been taking that money and using it up at the top. The CEOs, the companies have been taking that money off, skimming the money off the top. The states have been taking that money to help cover their tax revenue bills that have been shortfall because of cutbacks of services due to the shutdown because of the health crisis that's going on right now. So, but if you look at this is not a good sign because the Federal Reserve Bank has committed to unlimited QE, quantitative easing. And basically, we're following down the same path as Venezuela, as Zimbabwe, as Turkey, Greece, you name it, Weimar, Germany even, okay, back in the day. History has shown us that when you print a currency into oblivion, you not only devalue and debase the currency. Remember now, our dollar is not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold anymore since President Nixon took us off the gold standard back in the early 70s, the Bretton Woods Conference. Remember that? Okay. So the dollar is not backed by anything. It's just backed by the full faith and credit of the Federal Reserve. It's a debt note. And so when you're accumulating all of this debt and the money velocity, which is the money that we have in our pockets, is not circulating because people are saving, paying their bills, or only buying the essentials because people in America realize now that we're going to be in this for the long haul. It's not just a health crisis. This economy is going into a double dip recession, yea, even a depression. And so if people are not spending the stimulus money as much as the economy wants, and the money at the top is not moving around, you need money velocity in exchange. Money is just a medium of exchange for goods and services. But if that medium of exchange is not moving around in the system, just like oil is not moving around in the engine, and it's clogged up in the oil pump, guess what happens? It seizes up, okay? This economy is about to seize up. And so this is a really, really bad sign. And it's not just a matter of if, it's a matter of when, okay? And that's the big $1 billion question. When are they gonna let this economy seize up? Because right now, remember, the Federal Reserve has been pumping money since September of 2019. That's when the repo market got in trouble. This is before the health crisis. They've been pumping billions of dollars into these banks. So there's obviously a liquidity crisis, right? So how do we solve a liquidity crisis? Well, the Federal Reserve Bank says, well, we'll just continue to print our way out of it. Okay, we'll continue to supply the injection of cash that these big banks, these big corporations need, and all of that sounds lovely. But the problem with that is that you're not only going to induce hyperinflation or inflation in the little guys' pockets, but you're also going to induce deflation too. We're going to have both deflation and hyperinflation, which is going to be absolutely killer for this economy because no jobs are being created. And this is one of the biggest problems right here. America has lost, December, we've lost 140,000 job losses. Non-farm payrolls fell by 140,000 in December against the consensus estimate for they were expecting a 50,000 gain. The unemployment rate right now, according to the Labor Department, is at 6.7%, which we know that's a fake number because right now we have over 40 million Americans who are unemployed. We're losing every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. They issue the jobs report for those of you who don't know, and we're losing 740,000 jobs per week on that job report for the last 40 weeks, okay, since we've been in this health crisis. So this 6.7% number is fudged. That's a lie. The real unemployment really right now is at 12% in America. And I'm counting all the part-time and those who have given up looking for work and all of that, etc. So you can understand that's crazy. That's unbelievable. We're not creating jobs. We're not manufacturing anything. And we're going into this new digital economy. The problem with it is that even so, the rich man and the greedy rich man that owns these companies like Walmart and Amazon and Facebook, they can only hire so many people, okay? We can't get back to full employment with that. And they're not Keynesian economics. They don't believe in Keynesian philosophy. They believe in MMT, modern monetary theory. Look it up. That means that they can just print money that's not going to be based on production or anything real, have a real economy, unlike China, Russia, and other countries, developing countries who are actually strengthening their real economy, at this point. So we lost 140,000 jobs last year. Unemployment rate supposedly is at 6.7%, when really it's at 12% when we look at all the numbers combined. So on top of that, my friends, they're saying now that, so where are the jobs at? Where can we find some bright spots or hopes, okay? Well, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the jobs are in professional and business services. There was some gains there, 1 month gains there. There was some gains in retail trade. There was some gains in construction. I guess they're saying that they've been building a lot of these temporary housing or condos or townhouses or high rises or manufactured housing. That there's some gains in there. Transportation and warehousing, there's some gains in that. Obviously, with the online buying spree, they need people to transport all these things, contract workers to transport all these goods and services. So supposedly that's growing. Healthcare and social assistance, apparently that's growing as well. So we have a net loss of job losses continuing. Plus, we have an issue with the travel and hospitality sector that's going to be declining for the last 6 years. As a matter of fact, investor Kevin O'Leary says that he believes that on CNBC, he believes that travel and leisure and hospitality is not going to come back until the next 5 years or so, maybe even longer. And I believe him because, listen, companies are not going to spend money on travel conferences. Those things are the past. Why would they spend money on travel conferences, hotel, flight, employee reimbursement when they can do everything through Zoom calls, through virtual learning, through virtual meetings and everything? So that's going to be out. Restaurants are never coming back. As a matter of fact, I looked up how much it cost for these restaurants in my county to do. They're providing a tax stimulus to the restaurants to help them do outdoor dining. And you know that it's super cold in the Northeast, and they have to have these heaters and these type of igloo tent looking structures that they put out that you can go out and eat. Those things cost a lot of money, okay? Even with grants from the city and the county and the state, township and the government, those things cost a lot of money. Those portable heaters run easily $1,000 a piece, $2,000 a piece, and you have to continue refilling them with that kerosene or whatever they use, the lantern, to keep the lantern up. It's just a mess, okay? And who wants to eat outside when it's 30 degrees, 20 degrees, 40 degrees, outside and the wind is blowing 20, 30 miles an hour and you're trying to eat and have a conversation? Nobody wants to do that in the middle of a health crisis. And so they're not going to make their money back, especially when they're only operating at 25% capacity and we're about to go into another lockdown. I predict, here's my predictions for this first quarter 2021, they're going to continue to pump money. Right now, the stock market, right, okay, it's going to go up. Right now, the gold and silver is going to be hammered. Cryptos are going to continue. Bitcoin is going to continue to surge, okay? Because everybody's anticipating this massive stimulus that President Biden is going to do, which he is going to do when he gets in office, and along with this current stimulus, okay? So expect those to continue to rise in the bubble. But here's the problem. We can expect businesses to continue to close down on the main street. We can expect job losses to continue to mount. And we can expect crime to go up because as people don't have jobs, they're going to be looking to take what anybody else has on the streets of anything. So crime is going to go up boldly as well. And we can also expect another black swan event. And I don't know whether that's going to be something to deal with a blackout, like a power outage, or possibly a foreign country. It could be another foreign country. But be on the lookout for something like that, where something goes offline in one part of the country. It may not be the whole country, but something goes offline, or maybe a banking blow up, a failure, where they have to come in and rescue the banks, and also be on the lookout for a lockdown. And that lockdown, I believe, is coming. Could be as soon as next month, February. But I'm thinking the beginning of March. Around spring break time is when that they're gonna institute a nationwide lockdown. They're tired of the states doing their own thing, and we're talking about 50. States have never really fully opened up, especially in California and all of that. But get ready for a nationwide lockdown mandate by Joe Biden and his associates by the beginning of March. And so that's why it's imperative that you continue to prepare. You continue to get food, water, medicine, supplies, cryptos, gold, silver, anything you can to hedge against this coming thing that we're in right now, because we're in it for the long haul. And once we go into this lockdown, this 6-week lockdown, this 6-week national lockdown, we already have a national mask mandate, okay? Some countries are fining people for going out without masks. We're going to have that bringing over here in the U.S. and UK very soon, okay? So just think about what you need to survive a 6-week national lockdown, because that's coming this year, guaranteed, okay? This health crisis has proven that regardless of how many cases we have or deaths we have, they're going to mandate this thing. So get ready for a 6-week national lockdown beginning in March, maybe sooner, but just be ready for that and don't be surprised. Remember, you heard it here first on our channel. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of the weekend. I'll talk to you very, very soon.